Please roll, and I just like, okay, what day is it? Welcome and happy Friday, everyone.
Happy Friday, viewers and listeners. Thank you so very much, Lady Elise. The words tend to, after a while, become over you. So I have landed with favored Friday. So
Oh,
today we should feel favored, certainly in God's eyes. So let's see how that one works for today. Favored Friday, and I wish that we all feel favored because the terminology is always blessed and highly favored. So let's be favored, certainly in God's eyes today.
Lady Curly and Lady Elise, good morning as well. As you say, I mentioned today being favored Friday. We want to just acknowledge our friend and colleague, Elder Edgar Bennett, at this time, who is basically mourning the loss of his brother at this time. So we want to
Yes.
just, pause for a moment, just to give that solemnness to a moment in time, you know. And so this morning, having to start like that, knowing this, I woke up to the news this morning that this is happening. And, I haven't even gotten a chance to talk with him yet. But we'll talk to him during the course of the day when he, probably get a chance to settle down. I tried to talk to him before, he learns of the death of his brother, or we learn of it, or it actually occurs. But I didn't get a chance to speak to him. I understand he was traveling and trying to get to his brother's bedside to be there and to have those final moments, not knowing that they would be the final moments, that kind of thing. But when
Yeah.
you have your loved ones that are, probably sick or so, you want to be closer, to be there with them. So
Yes. Absolutely. We do extend condolences to him and his family and pray that God's consoling arms will keep him or keep them in this moment. And it underscores how precious life is and how we ought to don't take for granted the moment. Let our loved ones and those who are in our space know how much we love them
yes,
because we never know how short a time we have with them.
never
So
know.
as we grieve with Edgar and his family, we want to extend our prayers that they will be comforted by the memories they would have shared with their beloved brother and son.
Of course, we have
yes,
a few,
and
yes.
uh, for our viewers or our listeners who are tuning in for the very first time, Elder Edgar Bennett is the director here of Flashpoint Media Ministry. So there's a ministry arm of this great media company, and that ministry arm, it involves reaching out for those persons who need the spiritual guidance, and all of us do need that, whether in the form of Bible study and so many other areas that it covers. So at this time, we recognize too how fragile life is, and that reality just came almost forcibly. We hear of persons, losing their life so often. It sometimes becomes such a regular thing to have the conversation, but it can never feel normal.
Yeah.
It is such a painful place to be. And to those of our listeners who are probably experiencing something similar, loss of a loved one and suffering that's going on, we know we are clinging to that hope that one day there will be none of this suffering and pain that we do go through.
You know, as I said
Awesome.
earlier this morning when before we came on set and having the conversation, that's the deal we have made with the devil,
Oh boy.
and it's a sad one. But we as human, even though I might not be the one who signed the deal, we have locked into that deal because human and the history of humans, according to a biblical version of it, has locked
Yes.
us into a deal with the devil,
Yes.
and this is him collecting on that deal.
Yes.
So, yeah, that's how it works. But we want to say thank God for Jesus, not
Yes.
Easter, but thank God for Jesus, not Easter, not the pagan holidays celebrating pagan gods and all of that, but for him dying to save us, but
Yes.
not Easter, because Easter is not the death of Christ. It is a pagan's holiday of fertility and everything else,
Yes.
but daubed in the blood of Christ. That's how I can fix that. Anyways, having said that, let's take a small moment and come back. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit more. We have so much to share with you this morning. I don't know if we have enough time to get through all of it today, but guess what? We're going to give it a
We'll
try
start.
and give it a
Yes.
shot. All right?
Yes. All right. Let's do it.
All right, so we are back and we want to just share with you a few thoughts that we came up with. We found a few things that we think would interest you, and I think you would find it very interesting. All right, so the first one we're going to be talking a little bit on some stuff that we have been basically socially and mentally guided into, not because we want to, but we are herded. I'm using that word this morning. Herded. Remember the word? Herded.
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 Yes.
All right, let's get into it, Lady Elise.
Best way to gain control of the most intelligent, powerful species on the planet would be to completely divide them from the love within themselves. As soon as they are old enough to begin creating an understanding of who they are, force them into a system that teaches them that it is wrong to be yourself if yourself is different from what is accepted as normal. Confuse them about their own biological makeup so that they think that permanently altering their body is the answer to happiness. Require their daily attendance at an institution that makes them focus only on the information that is provided. Make them attend that institution from age 5 until an adult and repeatedly test them on the information so that it becomes their truth. Give them an explanation to everything so that they never have a chance to make their own assumptions of the world. Scold them and humiliate them if they suggest an opinion that opposes that of their authorities. Keep reminding them of how cruel their ancestors were to each other in the past and broadcast how cruel they are to each other in the present. Only show them tragedies on the news so that they live in fear and think the worst of one another. Convince them that their species used to be that of an incognizant wild animal. Make them think that their very existence is so incredibly random that they lack purpose and struggle to make sense of a creator. Tell them that their kind is as smart as they've ever been so that they don't question the integrity of the system that they're in. Provide them idols with artificial beauty and use them as examples of what it is to look perfect so that they are never content with their own appearance and can't help but to compare themselves amongst each other. Create addictive digital platforms that rank them by numbers so that they base their self-worth off of the amount of followers that they have and are never satisfied. Build a society around them in which those who have money benefit and those who don't fail. Make money their main focus, but make it so difficult to accumulate that they remain in a place of constant struggle, forced to dedicate the majority of their time to the system that made it this way. Tax them in every way possible, but tell them that it's for their own benefit so that they don't think twice about paying it. Take so much of their time and energy throughout the week, but give them 2 days to themselves so that they feel a sense of reward and don't fight back. Promote the consumption of poison in every social setting so that even on those 2 days, they remain disconnected from themselves and each other. Pump their food with excess sugars and addictive chemicals, but make it cheap, advertised, and easily accessible so that they never stop consuming. When their food makes them ill, prescribe them medication that only
That's prophetic, I would say. I don't know the date of that video, but certainly that is what we're now experiencing, that the information that we're being fed is almost, it's a flood of it, so much so that you don't even have time to think or to assess. And if you even try to, then you become the target of, criticism, and you're an outcast.
Well, I will go to as far as show you how when we are finished with this, if we can get through this morning, you will see how much it's not just of verbal targeting, but actual, literal, right? Lady Elisa, I don't know what your take is on it, but throughout this morning experience,
I noticed that she disappeared after that video. Basically,
that video
that's
was
what
made,
it
and
said.
nobody have seen her again since. I when I saw it, I said, when we have conversation, here, persons will automatically link you to me, and we are talking together. So we are all doing the same thing, sort of like that, because we are the ones being seen. So forgive me for bringing some of these things up, because some people don't want to hear that I'm speaking about the things I'm saying. Let me ask you a question. When last have you heard the statement conspiracy theory? When last? Just think about it. Don't answer right away.
Just now.
All right. Let's and you're right. Let's do it this way. Like I said, since now, before now. Before now. Since when have you heard it? Before now.
That's a question.
What's his name? The gentleman who was assassinated, Charlie Kirk.
Yes.
So around that time, when his assassination became the story of the day, you sort of were compelled to search to find out who he is and what was his
message.
Thank you. And that was pretty much his pronouncements, So to answer your question, that would have been what came to mind as to when last this whole concept.
So not
theory.
so much. Lady Elise, you?
Well, when you consider these things, with what's happening in social media, we do get a flood of persons who have theories, if we are honest with ourselves. Even from as far back as COVID, we have persons who have different beliefs, and they will come out and say it. And that is what we have, a flood of information.
Yeah, but the question I want you to answer,
sharing their opinions.
But what I want to answer is the word conspiracy, the concept of conspiracy theory. Since now, when last have you heard it?
Oh no, not recently.
Not recently. You know why?
Why?
Because that word, that statement came up to kill the authentic information that was coming to you, especially during COVID, that people were actually telling you how to save yourself from all of it, and what was and what wasn't. There were real information that was coming up, but was propagandized or used that word to kill the stories and say it is conspiracy theory, only to prove that after the fact, most of those persons who were put out of business, one of them lost their jobs or excommunicated or whatever it is, their information was correct the whole time.
Well, to our listeners and viewers, if you're just passing by, just tuning in, how do we protect ourselves, our family, and our kids?
And so let me say this
conversation.
Let me say this as a disclaimer, and I'm going to be agreeing that not every single person who said something was actually right. I'm not going to say that. So don't say Mikey G came and say everybody who was claimed conspiracy theorists was right. And No, I'm saying if the conversation was allowed to be tested, you'd have found that most of those persons who were considered conspiracy theorists was actually not the conspiracy theorists, but there were people in there mixing up the thing, putting out false information with those persons to kind of like, propagandize it. All right, ladies, drop the next one for us and let us get on with it. And so this one has set the base for us this morning. As the conversation flows, this one, the first video, will be the one that sets the tone for every other conversation that we're going to be having this morning. All right, let's go with this one.
Talked about. And they especially don't want it talked about by a white scientist. And I'll give you a little bit of information about my background soon so you understand where I'm coming from and why I'm taking the steps to go public with this information. The truth is there is a concerted, organized, long-standing effort to eliminate African Americans from the human gene pool. Not just African Americans, by the way, but Africans. This is happening right now. You are being subjected to it. It's happening through multiple vectors of science, medicine, and food that I will detail here in this talk, and it's all being done covertly. So almost no one is aware of this. The entire mainstream media refuses to acknowledge this. The scientific community will say that none of this is true, and yet if you look at the facts that I'm going to share with you and the history that's undeniable, you will see there is a concerted, organized effort to eliminate.
Finding when I looked at African American males only, the relative risk was 3.36. It just blew my mind. And that's when I wanted to call Bill Thompson on the phone. And his statement to me was, "Oh, you found it."
It appears in the final publication is that race in general is downplayed.
Of course it is. Among the blacks, the ones that were getting vaccinated earlier were more likely to have autism.
Wow.
Amongst the blacks that was given the vaccines would have autism. So if you're looking at things that are happening to the human beings right now, especially to your kids and your community, and you find these things, I want to just say a big shout out to Liz this morning behind the labels with Liz.
Behind the labels.
Behind the labels with Liz. Show down here at Flashpoint. And this woman is a remarkable person, presenter, and of course, a mother who is spearheading the charge on autism right here in the Grand Cayman Islands. And so we want to give her a big shout out this morning right here on the breakfast hour and tell her to keep up the good work and of course keep going. What we have found is that what we are experiencing in our daily lives, our families, and today's Family Friday, guys. If you're just joining us, today is Family Friday, and of course it is coined it today. It is, of course, favored Friday. Thank you for giving me that.
Correct. Yes, and
favored Friday.
Just being here, we are being favored.
Yes.
And
thankful.
The information that we do get here and share, it's an opportunity, one more moment in time that will not happen again. This very second, this very moment, it's not happening again. And so I am enjoying sharing this platform with my sister and brother as we take this conversation very seriously. Take a little bit, just listen to what's being shared and form your own perspective as we secure our well-being and our family's well-being as well. So I will go ahead and share if
one more. Yeah, of course, as we
one
look,
more.
Yes, you can go ahead and start, put it up. As we converse today on this Friday, we want to be clear that this information is not something that we have fact-checked, but we are sharing it because it's floating around out there. But every single thing that you're listening to has
Yes.
pointed to earlier evidence of what we have suffered in the past that has been documented.
Yes.
And so we are not going to put our names and our necks on the block to say yes. But I'm going to say we are sharing it with you to bring awareness. You watch, if you were in the 70s and 60s, and you watch Star Trek, and
Yes.
people say it's foolishness, it's science fiction, you are living in Star Trek today. So we now know it's not so. This was true all the time, that this was what we wanted to do. If you didn't do it yet, your intention is to do it. So be careful. And so that's all we're doing. We're just shooting the warning shot.
Star Trek, though, Mikey G went into the 80s. So
Well,
some of us
it was so
expanded a
good.
little bit more.
It was
you
so
know?
good. It was so good. It
Yeah.
had different art. So we started out with Captain Kirk in the first season of it in the 1960s. That's when it began.
Yes.
And it was such a good series that it transcended into the 80s. And even into the 90s, it came in there, of course, and persons doing reruns on that. And it was part of that old saga. But Star Trek was the thing. Even in the 80s, people was thinking it was such a stupid thing because there's no way anybody's going to be seeing anybody on a TV talking to them from no distance away in no galaxy or any place at all. And even if you're living in one city or one state, could not talk to. In fact, if the person living next door to you, you couldn't talk to them like that next door. And so that was the impossibility at some point. But now you can talk to somebody in China, FaceTime.
Yes.
All right, let's go to this video and we see how advanced we have become in our technological finding. And this is where we have been. And when we talk about, we have been having a conversation about optical illusion. We now know what we are looking at. Is it true or false? And so when we are speaking, is it something that we are seeing actually, and is it so, or is somebody making it up? And I wonder if these people are talking. It's clearly AI. She look like AI right here this morning. Let's have it there.
My name, it's not too important.
We're gonna hear some beats.
What I'm about to tell you, it's extremely important. I'm one of the first people to get a Neuralink implant in my skull. If you guys can see and don't really know what a Neuralink is, it's kind of like an electronic chip from Elon Musk embedded in your skull. At first it was kind of like a Fitbit, kept track of vital signs, stuff that was going on in my body. Eventually it's gotten to a point where I can move a mouse
Just keep looking straight ahead.
without even touching a computer. I can connect, I can download, I can transfer information. I'm not the only person that has one of these now, and now we can communicate. This is what's going to happen for the rest of the world. Eventually, this technology will be, maybe not in you, your kids, your grandkids. This is what's coming next. Welcome to the year 2025. Have fun.
I don't know. Is that for real?
That was 2025.
So guys, you guys are watching too much TV. I mean, I remember movies with these chips or whatever, and now you're taking your fascination way too far.
Well,
Scary.
he mentioned somebody's name. I don't know if it is so or not, so we're not going to be confirming that, at any point.
Yeah.
But we are looking at the conversation that is happening, and because of the
Yes.
nature of it, this is not something that we have been exposed to for the first time. This is something that has been a conversation for a very long time. Do
Yes.
you know what witchcraft is?
Interesting. And I think the concept of it, if I can pick up where you dropped that, Mikey G, is creating everything that is counter to God
Yes.
and putting us in a space that makes us like God. It goes back to the Garden of Eden.
The Garden of Eden. What
And
was the statement?
yes.
What was the statement?
That
I will
you
be
should- like God. It will make
know,
you have
yes.
knowledge of good and evil.
Yes.
And if you look at, take a step back and look at it, it's framing itself, or it's a continuation of that thought.
Yes.
You don't
Yes.
need God. You as man, as the creature, again,
Become the creator.
Lucifer was created.
Creating.
He wants to supersede the creator.
Yes.
And all of these things are are heading in that direction. If you have this thing embedded in you that controls you, that allows you almost to have superpower, is what I'm hearing. Because if he can move the mouse without touching it, it is saying that you are more than one man who is taught to be able to use his brain, to use his arm, to do things. It's trying to erase all of what we knew and know to be true. So it goes back to the point you were making, the conspiracy theory, that it was injected to cause confusion. You know? And that's really where I see this going as well. If you doubt what you know to be true, then it may result in you not believing anything.
It is, you know, it is sad that we have to be rushing this morning's story because it's so much information there, Lady Elise.
Well, what we'll have to do, I think, Mikey G, is to share the other clips on
Let's shoot it. Let's do another one there. Let's put another one in there. Let's get another clip in there. All right, so, you know, as we contemplate the conversation that we are having, we are looking at modifying the human perception. When you modify the human perception in any way at all, can you trust what you're saying? Can you trust yourself? Can you trust somebody else to say that that's what they are thinking, or somebody uploaded something in them? I had a clip here a few weeks ago where we shared the idea of cloning and persons downloading somebody's memories and uploading it, Lady Corley Curran, into somebody's clone that looks like them but was set up for them in terms of their genetics, makeup and everything. And
did you watch the show Get Out?
Yes, I did.
That is what came to my mind.
I did.
Just to know.
I did.
It was...
All right, let's have it, Lady Elise.
Tres hombres que la élite eliminó justo cuando iban a cambiar el mundo. El primero es el caso más reciente y aterrador, Nuno Loureiro. Este brillante físico de
You can't stop it. For that one, Lady Elise, for that one, it would have to mean, it would simply have to mean this. Because what happened to you now is that by sharing it, it has transferred itself to another language. Because originally, Lady Curley, this is in English. This conversation that you're listening to is in English. But by sharing it, it becomes another language. We're talking about the Tower of Babel this week. And how the confounding of the language, when we speak, we can't understand the language. And the devil is now using the same tool that God used at the Tower of Babel to confound us. Because we want to share that sensitive information, and we couldn't share it with our English-speaking persons. But of course, those who speak Spanish could hear it.
Yeah.
But by confounding the language, we can't communicate with the language. We can't interact with it. Anyways, let's have this one.
All women need to watch this.
Little one, say they're in a car seat.
And I want you to
put them inside
to
the vehicle most of the time, get them out of the weather, you secure them, and then you get your groceries and you put them in your trunk or in your SUV, raise your hatch, whatever the case may be. Well, the new thing that's going right now is usually they'll send another woman to do it, and then they've got a van or somebody, a few vehicles down that they're watching you. They've already scoped you out. They're watched you walk in Walmart, get your groceries, do all your stuff, come back out. They wait till you get everything in your vehicle secured. You're not paying attention to your surroundings. As soon as you get into your car and you close your door, normally you're going to grab your phone, or you might just go ahead and, adjust all your temperatures, get the AC going, whatever the case may be. And then you hear knock, knock, knock on your driver door window. And they're most of the time, hey, I was going to let you know, but you have a flat. It's all the way on the ground. It's flat. It's over here. They'll probably say it's on your passenger side. That's one of the reports that we've gotten here recently. And eventually, you know, most of the time you're automatically, oh my goodness, and then you get out, and as soon as you get out and you're going around, you're focusing on that, your child's in the car, a van or something pulls up, 2 people jump out, throw you in, and within a matter of seconds you disappear. You're gone. And this is going viral. Like, this is a very big deal in a lot of places right now. Ladies, it doesn't matter who's knocking on your window or your door. If they're telling you something's wrong with your vehicle, say, okay, thank you, great. You wait for them people to get away. Even if you need to go ahead and back out, you go ahead and back out. If you ruin that tire, even if it is flat, so what? Who cares? Drive off. Do not roll your window down, and definitely don't get out of that vehicle.
Well, you know, it's interesting. My mom had a similar situation where she, in driving, or while at a traffic light, I think it was, somebody told her that there was a flat, and I'm making mention of it because it is so very common for you. And my thought would be, oh, this person is really nice and considerate, because how there's so many other people around, and that person took interest sufficiently to bring something to my attention. And so you're not going to be suspicious of that conversation, especially when it is very much likely to happen. You know, so it's almost saying to us that we should be very cautious, suspicious, skeptical of our
surroundings, because you I think you read in the news this week too an increase in robberies and so on, and one of the MO
car parks
that
as well
was shared was that a flat tire. Person's been told that they have a flat tire, so it's not something that's just remotely happening. I heard it this week in the news right here in this island of persons having experiences in deserted car parks and so forth. So let us be on alert and be careful.
Be vigilant everywhere you go, guys. This is what we want to say. We have one more, Lady Elise. Share. One more. And this is, we have to take these things serious. We want to bring this awareness to everyone. We just want to make you be aware of your surroundings. Don't just be trusting. And please, guys, just check your surroundings when you're moving, especially these days. In fact, they are even tagging the cars now, as according to the information that is coming, that they can identify the car going somewhere else and they follow it. You know? So then pick up the person who is in there.
So it says that they're intelligent in their approach. It's not sporadic or haphazard. It's intentional. So we just need to be mindful.
So scams,
and be conscious of it.
Yes, must be conscious of it. Scams that we must look out for, guys. This is definitely going to impact us in a lot of ways. And for those who are buying things online and are using your debit cards, this you need to understand. Please, at least run this one. It's the last.
Beware of this scam in 2026, because this scam is going to be taking over. And make sure you share this with your friends and family, because we all need to be aware of it.
Tell us about the card decline scam.
That's right. Very frustrating. The Better Business Bureau just sent out a warning about this new scam that looks like your card has been declined, but actually it's been copied and stolen. Here's how it works. Say you're shopping online at a site that you think is real, and you try to make a payment on the website when you get an alert that says your card is declined for some reason. Well, that's weird. You think, because I know I have enough money on there for that to clear, so you try another card. But the same thing happens. Card declined. Unfortunately, that's a dead giveaway that you've fallen for this scam, and now you've actually given the bad guys information on 2 of your cards. Whoa. If you check your account balances, you'll probably see some unauthorized charges on those accounts within minutes. If this happens, the worst thing you can do is keep trying different cards to see if they'll work. Every one that you try is simply giving the scammer more information about more cards. Instead, the BBB says you need to do a security check before you try the first card. So if you're on a site like Amazon where you have an account, you shouldn't have to enter any personal information. And if your card is on file, you shouldn't be asked to resubmit it. Make sure that you're really on the website that you think you're on and not a cloned site made to look like Amazon or something else.
Amen. Hallelujah. Praise the Lord.
You know, it's interesting because these things were perpetrated to provide you with an easy way to do it. We've gotten busy, and so instead of going into the store, you can do it online. So even if, well, I'll tell you this, KFC, there is a brick and mortar, but you can go online, WhatsApp, or you can do the actually on their website and place orders. And so because we have gotten accustomed to the easy way of doing things, the scammers have no targeted individuals. So, you know, it's like, anywhere you go, because if you go into the brick and mortar, then you run the risk of somebody targeting you, as you would have spoken about the person with a tire, you know. And if you go online, you're faced with another dilemma. So what do? It almost wants to get us in a position or a state of scare, or, you know, you're held hostage by your own circumstance. There's nothing that's safe.
You have been held hostage by our own devices.
Yes. It's scary.
It's a scary place to be, but, you know, we want to bring this awareness to everyone that when you're actually doing on the road and you're trying to use the machines or your debit card, there's so many scams going on these days, you can't keep up.
Yeah, and it's important, Mikey G, from an awareness standpoint. You know, in the first instance, it could be. Let me just stop doing all of this because there's so many things to be concerned about. But the truth is, if you don't know, it's worse because you run the risk of being the next victim. So the idea of awareness is not to scare, but in the space, let you understand that you need to be vigilant, as you had mentioned before, as to what are likely dangers that exist.
And that is where we are this morning. So many things we talked about this morning, and of course I hope that it interacts with you. You are interacting with the conversation or information that we are sharing with you. I hope it is useful to you for you to be more secure in yourself and in your environment, or even within your family. And of course, we aim to always try to be one step ahead of the game, or to even get you to understand, sharing what we have, or the information that we have found out, we have researched and found and find, and we want to share it with you as a means of education and of course awareness as we try to navigate this very interesting new world that we have created. The global community is really not so far away anymore. It's right next door, Lady Karen. All right, so I want to say, give us your take on, you know, today, this morning's experience here, the different things that you experienced, just sharing them. I mean,
in all that we have discussed, what came to my mind is God favored me.
Yes.
Regardless of what's going on, regardless of the controversies, regardless of the conspiracy theories, regardless of the creature's attempt to usurp the Creator, do not lose sight.
Yes.
Of whose you are.
Of whose you are.
And indeed, God favors each and every one of us. And so when the world gets a little chaotic, when it seems as if it is spinning you around and around, take that moment to come up and say, God, I need your guidance. I need you to anchor me. I need you to be the core of who I am. Because once you have that connection, no matter how fierce the winds get, then you are secured in the hands of the Almighty. So my reminder to our viewers and our listeners, God indeed favors you and he favors me.
All right. Thank you, Lady Corley Karen, for this morning's experience. Of course, our news comes up next. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Corley Karen with your Flashpoint Radio Breakfast or News. Cayman makes history with first female deputy governor. Cayman has made history with the appointment of its first female deputy governor. Gloria McField Nixon would assume the role this summer, becoming head of the civil service. She brings extensive experience, having served in multiple senior roles and playing a key part in the country's COVID-19 response. Governor Jane Owen praised her appointment, expressing confidence in her leadership and commitment to public service. McField Nixon succeeds Frank Manderson, who is retiring after more than 4 decades in the civil service. Nearly 800 drivers caught in traffic crackdown. Police say close to 800 drivers have already been caught breaking the law during the ongoing Operation Claro Road Safety Campaign. Offences include speeding, illegal window tint, and expired vehicle licenses. Authorities report that hundreds of motorists were driving above the speed limit, with some exceeding dangerous levels. Police are urging drivers to comply with traffic laws as the operation continues through mid-April. Mystery pigeon travels thousands of miles to Cayman. A racing pigeon from Taiwan has stunned residents after turning up in Grand Cayman more than 9,000 miles from home. The bird, found at the Queen Elizabeth II Botanic Park, was weak but is now being cared for while efforts continue to trace its owner. Experts say the journey is highly unusual and may have involved the bird being blown off course or traveling aboard a vessel. Middle East tensions impact global wealth movement. Internationally, rising tensions involving Iran are slowing Dubai's rapid growth as a global hub for wealthy investors. Experts say uncertainty is prompting some high net worth individuals to reconsider their options, with places like the Cayman Islands being viewed as safe and stable alternatives. While no mass exodus is expected yet, analysts say the situation could shift if the conflict continues. Jamaica's NDTC impresses in Cayman and abroad. Jamaica's National Dance Theatre Company is receiving international praise after standout performances in the United States and the Cayman Islands. The group delivered sold-out shows and standing ovations, including performances at the Harkwell Theatre that captivated local audiences. Organizers say the strong reception could lead to future return engagements. Caribbean nations free to reject U.S. deportees. Caribbean countries will not face penalties if they refuse to accept deportees from the United States. Officials say each country can decide independently whether to accept third country nationals under new arrangements. The clarification comes amid regional discussions on immigration and refugee policies. That's your breakfast or news on Flashpoint Radio I'm Corley Karen. Stay tuned for more updates throughout the day.
I want to thank you for joining us this morning for news. Yes, news has so much in there this morning, so much to access information, lots of it. And we are thankful that you took the time out to join us this morning and spend the time with us right here at Flashpoint Radio FM, and of course to enjoy our online on our platforms, different platforms, our YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and of course later on sharing on our TikTok page, where you will have more and more information floating with you. Of course, remember later on the open portal comes up at 6:30 in the PM. Of course, we have guests in studio, the group called Hourr. Yes, Flashpoint Media Ministries will host that aspect. Of course, remember Flashpoint Media Ministry is an arm of Flashpoint Media. Of course, we are a commercial radio and we are business, and so we do have a ministry arm which is called Flashpoint Media Ministry, where only religious and gospel and just religious stuff is done on that platform. That's one of our platforms that we operate as well. And so we want to thank you for joining us for this morning's experience right here. Catch us this evening for the open portal. And remember, Sabbath experience begins at sunset with Flashpoint. So it continues all the way into sunset tomorrow, Saturday evening. And of course, you must stick and stay with us. All of this is on Flashpoint Radio FM at www.flashpointmedia.ky. And that's www.flashpointmedia.ky. Of course, remember, stick and stay. We have much more to come. Later on, of course, in today, we are going to have today is what we call, it's all Gospel Friday. So you're going to be getting a lot of gospel, a lot of content on a religious basis. And so please stick and stay. Flashpoint Radio FM is here to serve you, the community, and you as a person. Thank you for joining us for the breakfast hour this morning. On behalf of myself, Lady Corley Karen, and Lady Elise this morning, I want to say thank you for being our guests or people who continue to support Flashpoint Media, and of course by extension Flashpoint Radio FM. Thank you guys. We had a wonderful morning with you. I hope the information that was shared this morning was useful and you could share it with others, of course. So go ahead and like this video, share it, and of course hit the notification bell that whenever one of these programs comes up, you will get it first. Thank you. My name is, of course, I am Mikey G, Flashpoint Radio, right here in the Grand Cayman Islands. And of course, we are internationally placed across the globe. Have yourself a wonderful day. Continue to enjoy Flashpoint.
Listening to Flashpoint Radio. You know, wherever I travel around the globe, I have access to Flashpoint Radio.